What's up guys, Saf here on SuperSaf TV, and we've got the brand new OnePlus 8s in the house. There's the OnePlus 8 as well as the OnePlus 8 Pro. Let's go ahead, get these unboxed, do a detailed comparison and look at all the key differences, as well as look at some camera samples. So the boxes look exactly the same. We've got red boxes with the 8 logo here. On one side, we've got the OnePlus logo, and then on this side, we've got the OnePlus 8 as well as the OnePlus 8 Pro logos. These are completely sealed, so let's get rid of the plastic and let's unbox these SuperSaf style. And there we go. The unboxing experience is very similar for both of these. We do get some paperwork, including some of these funky stickers. They're quite cool. We've got here, my friends call me for tech support. Nice, I like that. Safety information, quick start guide. There's a note here from Pete, the CEO and founder of OnePlus. Always nice with that personal touch. Then we have a clear case with both devices. I quite like this. It actually has never settle on the case itself. There's the traditional red USB-A to USB Type-C cable. And then we've got the OnePlus Warp Charge 30T charger, which does have a maximum output of 30 watts for charging, very fast, and this is supported on both devices. And now let's have a look at the phones themselves. Plastic off. I am really liking this color. It's got a matte back, and this is the glacial green. On the OnePlus 8, there's also an Onyx black version available, which is glossy here in the UK. And in other markets, not in the UK, I'm not sure why, there is an interstellar glow. That looks really, really dope, but unfortunately, we're not going to be getting it in the UK, not now anyway. Moving on to the OnePlus 8 Pro, you'll notice that the plastic has this symbol at the back, which indicates that the OnePlus 8 Pro does have wireless charging. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The OnePlus 8 does not. Now the OnePlus 8 Pro is also in this glacial green color with this matte frosted back, which looks so nice. It does have a bit of a two-tone effect, which I'm really liking. And as with the OnePlus 8, the OnePlus 8 Pro is also available in a glossy Onyx black color, as well as an ultramarine blue. Once again, that ultramarine blue color is not available in the UK. I don't know why, but I've been told that it's not going to be available in the UK, unfortunately. Now, in either case, you can always customize the look of your OnePlus 8 or OnePlus 8 Pro with a skin from our channel sponsor, Dbrand. They have a huge variety of different skins, but my favorite right now is definitely the teardown skin, which kind of gives you a preview of the inside of the device. Looks very unique. It's been made in partnership with my good friend Zach from Jerry Rig Everything. If you do want to pick one of them up, I'll be leaving a link in the description below. Now, the OnePlus 8 Pro, for the first time in OnePlus's history, does have an IP68 water and dust resistant rating. This is something OnePlus don't usually have to save on costs, and the OnePlus 8 is where they are saving costs. And the OnePlus 8, although they have said that it should be generally watertight, it doesn't have an official IP68 water and dust resistant rating. Now, generally speaking, as you can see, both devices have a very similar design. We've got a center camera module. There are obviously some differences in the cameras, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But the biggest difference is in terms of the size. The OnePlus 8 is the overall smaller device in terms of height, the width, as well as the thickness, and it's also around 19 or 20 grams lighter, so it is going to be the more comfortable device to hold. However, the OnePlus 8 Pro is larger because it has a larger and much better display. So the OnePlus 8 Pro does have a 6.78-inch display versus the 6.55-inch display on the OnePlus 8. Now, both devices are fluid AMOLED devices. Colors are great. HDR10 Plus is supported. However, the OnePlus 8 Pro does have a higher resolution, so it's got a higher PPI pixel density, and it also has a higher refresh rate, 120 Hz versus 90 Hz on the OnePlus 8. Now, this is not to say that the OnePlus 8 is a bad display. It's a really good display, but the OnePlus 8 Pro has one of the best displays in the market right now. Now, one thing that I have noticed is that although both devices do have a curved front display, the OnePlus 8 is not as curved compared to the OnePlus 8 Pro. So how much of a difference is it from 90 Hz to 120 Hz? Well, I wouldn't say that it is as significant as going from 60 to 90 Hz, but it's definitely noticeable. And what's more noticeable is the fact that the OnePlus 8 Pro does have a 240 Hz touch responsive rate. So that just makes things feel that much smoother and that much faster. That's what she said. But anyway, as well as that, the OnePlus 8 Pro does have MEMC, which stands for motion estimation as well as motion compensation technology. This is essentially gonna make regular frame rate videos, say around 24, 30 frames a second, seem like they are at a higher frame rate by reducing motion blur and things. Tom Cruise will not be happy about that, but if that's something that you're into, you do have these options here. You've also got HDR Boost, which is gonna kind of enhance colors. These are gonna be compatible with Netflix, YouTube, Amazon Prime, so a lot of these apps are gonna be supported, and there is a big emphasis on the display of the OnePlus 8 Pro, which is really good. We've got an in-display fingerprint scanner on both devices as well, and as expected, it is very fast. Still no always on display, however, so I'm a little bit disappointed about that. Now let's address this punch out. So last year OnePlus did not have a punch out. They had a pop-up camera, and it was something that OnePlus fans were very proud of from what I could see. And this year OnePlus have kind of gone maybe a step backwards, some would say, by having this punch out. Now, this is to make these devices more watertight. So as you know, the OnePlus 8 Pro does have the IP rating. Now, personally speaking, I don't mind it too much. You may do. Let me know in the comments below which you prefer, a pop out or a punch out. So let's talk about the punch out front facing camera. This is the same on both devices. It's 16 megapixels. It can only film 1080p at 30 frames a second. Unfortunately, there is no 4K. And in terms of the pictures that come out of these, they're pretty decent. You've got good dynamic range. The portrait mode also seems to work pretty well. I still do think, however, that OnePlus devices from the selfie mode do kind of brighten up your skin a little bit more, make you look fairer than you actually are. That's something that I would like to see improved with a software update. But let's talk about the rear-facing cameras, where we do have some significant differences. So the OnePlus 8 has a primary 48 megapixel camera. This is the same sensor that we saw on the OnePlus 8 Pro last year. We also have a 16 megapixel ultra wide camera, as well as a 2 megapixel macro camera. Now on the OnePlus 8 Pro, we do have a new sensor. This is the Sony IMX689. It's a larger sensor size. It's the largest sensor size for a 48 megapixel camera at the moment. And the ultra wide camera is also 48 megapixels, and it's using the sensor that we've got on the primary camera of the OnePlus 8, which is quite interesting. We then have a telephoto camera that's going to give you 3 times optical zoom and up to 30 times digital zoom. And finally, we have a 5 megapixel color filter camera. Now, let me just say that this color filter camera is very weird because it doesn't really seem to do much other than applying a filter to your pictures, which generally you can do in post anyway, so I can't really see myself using this. But looking at the cameras side by side, in good lighting, both do perform pretty well. I would say that the OnePlus 8 Pro does have a bit more contrast. When it comes to the ultra wide, the OnePlus 8 Pro does have a wider camera, which I do prefer compared to the OnePlus 8. The OnePlus 8 Pro, of course, does have the optical zoom, so zoom is much better on the OnePlus 8 Pro. This is definitely a lot more noticeable when you go to around 10 times. I also noticed that the OnePlus 8 Pro does have overall better dynamic range compared to the OnePlus 8, but where you'll notice the biggest difference is in low light. The OnePlus 8 Pro, thanks to its larger sensor size, does capture more light, so low light images are much better on the OnePlus 8 Pro. Now, although we've got a dedicated macro camera on the OnePlus 8, you can still take macro shots on the OnePlus 8 Pro and get in very close using the ultra wide camera. Now, the results on here are also much better because you've got a much higher resolution. In my opinion, the macro shots on the OnePlus 8, because they're just 2 megapixels, aren't very usable. Now for video, both devices can film at up to 4K 60 frames a second. On the OnePlus 8 Pro, however, you do get that zoom, which is optical versus the digital zoom, so it's much better. But you've also got a 3 mic setup on the OnePlus 8, which gives you better audio as well as audio zoom. And there is also an HDR mode for video, which gives you better dynamic range in video. So overall, it's very clear to see that the OnePlus 8 Pro just has much better cameras compared to the OnePlus 8. Now, of course, we really have to see how the OnePlus 8 Pro compares to some of the other competition out there. If there's a comparison that you'd like me to do with another device, then definitely let me know which one you'd like to see in the comments below. Now let's move on to the performance, where things are actually quite similar. So we do have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 with the X55 modem, so 5G is supported on both devices. You've also got dual SIM capabilities on both devices as well, so you can have two SIMs active at the same time. However, 5G will only be enabled on one SIM at one time, so the other one will be on 4G. You've got Wi-Fi 6 as well as Bluetooth 5.1. You've got UFS 3.0 storage. There is 128 as well as 256 gigabyte options available. And for RAM, you have either 8 or 12 gigabytes of RAM. However, on the OnePlus 8 Pro, you do have LPDDR5 RAM, whereas on the OnePlus 8, you have LPDDR4X RAM. Now, the RAM on the OnePlus 8 Pro will be faster, so it's around 30% faster and 20% more power efficient. Now, realistically speaking, I think on a day-to-day, you're not going to notice a massive difference in terms of performance between these two. They are both very, very fast. And that is also thanks to the software, because we do have Oxygen OS on top of Android 10. Oxygen OS, you guys know, it's one of my favorite skins on Android. It's very clean, very minimal. For speakers, both devices do have stereo speakers. So we've got one in the earpiece and one bottom firing with support for Dolby Atmos. And for the batteries, the OnePlus 8 Pro does have a larger battery compared to the OnePlus 8. However, both devices do have support for Warp Charge 30T, and they are going to charge roughly about at the same speed. But the OnePlus 8 Pro does have a few advantages here, because it does, for the first time on a OnePlus device, have wireless charging. Now, this is 30-watt wireless charging, so that is very, very fast, significantly faster compared to lots of the competition out there, which traditionally charges at around 7.5 watts. Now, the 30-watt charger, which of course is sold separately, will charge the OnePlus 8 Pro from 1 to 50% in around 30 minutes, which is only a little bit longer compared to the wired charging, which is around 23 minutes. So that is really, really good. OnePlus have been saying for years that they've not gone with wireless charging because it's just not as fast. It looks like they figured it out, and I'm very, very happy to see this. Now, the OnePlus 8 Pro does also support reverse wireless charging. So this is where you can charge another device or some earbuds or something using the OnePlus 8 Pro. However, this is only at around 3 watts, so it's not too fast. Nevertheless, it's definitely nice to have. Now, one new feature that both devices have is smart charging optimization. This is essentially going to learn your usage patterns, and it's going to delay charging your device to 100% right away. So say, for instance, you wake up at 7 a.m. every single day. It's going to learn that that's roughly when you wake up. So if you do plug it in, it's not going to charge it to 100% until it reaches around about that time, which is really interesting. And I'm glad that OnePlus have got this, because as you guys know, having your phone charged and left uncharged for a long time can degrade battery life over time. So this is really nice. Now, in terms of battery usage, in terms of battery life, although you do have a larger battery on the OnePlus 8 Pro, you do have a larger screen with a higher resolution and a higher refresh rate. So I can't tell you battery figures as yet. I am going to have to use these a bit more extensively over time. Now let's talk about the price. So the OnePlus 8 Pro is going to be starting at around $900. So we're looking at flagship pricing. OnePlus has been increasing their price over time, but this time they've gone all the way to the top, and it's completely in the Pro league. The OnePlus 8 is coming in around $200 cheaper. Now, if you ask me, is the OnePlus 8 Pro worth the extra $200? Well, for me, having that better display, the better cameras, the wireless charging especially, I think it's definitely worth the $200 extra. However, at that $900 price point, or $1,000 for the 256 gigabyte option, you are competing with the big boys, with the likes of the Samsung Galaxy S20 series, the iPhones, and this is going to be really interesting to see how it compares. If you want to see those SuperSaf style comparisons first, then make sure you do subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. They're going to be coming very, very soon. What do you guys think of the OnePlus 8 as well as the OnePlus 8 Pro? Which one of these will you be going for? If you will be going for one, definitely let me know in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. If you did, then do hit that thumbs up button for me. Thanks for watching. This is Saf on SuperSaf TV. and I'll see you next time.